In this video, we'll be walking through the communications tool. Keela's communications tool allows you to reach out to your contacts via email marketing, which consists of mass emails, or through direct mail, like physical mail. You can use Keela's communication tool to create newsletters, run fundraising campaigns, and even reach out to volunteers. You can get as creative as you'd like with your content. Let's dive in. When viewing your Keela screen, you can find the communications tool on the left-hand sidebar within the list of Keela's tools. When you click on the communications tool, you'll be directed to the email marketing tab by default. Here you'll find a list of all of your mass emails that you've sent or drafted in Keela. From this page, you can search for a particular email. You can filter out your list of emails based on email category, the scheduled send time, as well as the status. You can choose to turn on notifications for when you are assigned to an email from another user on the account. And of course, you can create new email marketing. When you select Create Email Marketing, you'll be prompted to add the name of your email. So let's say we're having a fundraiser to raise money for school supplies. So we'll name it School Supplies. You can choose a category for the email. Note that this category is used for internal tracking only, so this is an optional field. In this case, though, we'll choose fundraising. You can also choose an assignee, which involves choosing a user on the account who is predominantly responsible for this email. This is for internal organization as well, so it's optional. And then you can choose campaign. So this allows you to associate the email to a particular campaign that you are running, so you can keep track of all the email marketing relevant to that campaign. So let's choose school supplies. When you're done filling out the fields, you can go ahead and select Save. You'll then be directed to the content page of the email. You'll be prompted to fill out the email information as well as create content for your email. Let's work through each email field. The To field is who you're sending your email to. So we'll go ahead and press Add Recipients. You can choose to send your email marketing to a particular segment or a particular tag, as well as all of your contacts. You also have the option to exclude contacts. In this case, we'll stick with segment, and we'll say we're sending to the school supplies reach out email list. I also want to make sure I have this button selected, which is send to email addresses with unknown subscription status. So in Keela, when you add a new contact or you import new contacts and you don't specify whether that contact's email subscription status is opted in or opted out, the status will by default be unknown, just for compliance reasons, because we can't assume that they want to be opted in or opted out. So we usually recommend that this button is checked for those contacts with unknown subscription status. Once you fill that out, you can go ahead and press Save. You can see here a summary of the options that you chose. Then you want to choose From. So we want to add a sender. Okay, so here you'll have the option of the organization's overall email, as well as the emails of each user on the account. This way you can specify who you want the email to look like it's coming from. So in this case, I'll choose the organization level email, and I'll go ahead and press Save. Then you can choose Reply To. So all this means is when you send an e-blast, if a recipient replies, which users on the account or your team members do you want to be notified of the reply? So if you edit the reply recipients, you can see you'll get a choice of all of your team members within the account. Then you can choose a subject. Okay, so this will be the subject of your email that appears in the inbox, as well as preview text if you want to customize the preview text that shows up in someone's inbox as well. Okay, so we'll keep it pretty simple for now. Go ahead and press Save. You can add attachments if you'd like. So if you're sending out anything with an application or some sort of flyer, you can add attachments. And then, of course, you can go ahead and add content. When you click on Add Content, you'll be prompted to either choose from a default template. So these are templates that Keela has already created for you as a starting point. Okay, and then you can edit the information and content within it. We've organized it by category just to help guide you a little bit. So we have newsletter templates, fundraising templates, occasion and holiday templates, event, stewardship, and basics so you can completely start from scratch. Now, once you start creating e-blasts, you have the option to save them as templates. So if you really like the content of the e-blast and its design, you can always save it so you can use it for later. We'll look at that in a little bit. But if you do that, then you'll find those templates that you saved under the Save Templates tab. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start with a basic email template. Let's say I want to start completely from scratch. So I'm going to press select, and then it's going to open my email marketing builder. All right, so one of the key things to note here is that if you want to add content into your email marketing, you're required to add a row first. Okay, so these are what we call rows. You can see you can add a single row, a double row, so on and so forth. You have many different options. And then what you do is drag a content block into the row. Okay, so make sure you have a row before you start trying to add content. That's really important. Let's see what that looks like. So let's pull in a single row here at the top. And let's say I want to add a header image to my email marketing. So I can go ahead and pull in an image content block because I want to upload an image. Okay, see how that populates? And now I get more options relevant to this particular content block. So I can go ahead and upload an image. Let's say I have an image ready to go. You can crop it, you can rotate it. So there's a few little editing tools here. And then you can go ahead and upload it. And you can see that uploads right into the email marketing. Okay. Another thing you can do is add a link to the image. You can change other things like border style, the border radius, the alignment. So whether it's centered or to the left or the right, you can resize it. You can make the margin edge to edge. So you'll notice with the different content blocks that you choose, you'll have different options. Okay, so now let's say we want to add some text. All right, so watch. If I go ahead and try to add some text, I can see it's not moving in there. Why is that? It's because we have to add a row first, remember? So we'll scroll up, we'll pull in a row, and now when I try to add that text, it populates. All right, so let's say I just want to write a little script that our organization had prepared to put into this email. Okay? All right, so that looks good. I can change the background, the line height, a bunch of other options here. You can make the text bold, italic, underlined, center it, add numbered list. You can add links even, more images in here. The possibilities are pretty endless here for customization. Okay, so we added our text, awesome. Now we want to keep this email pretty simple. So the last thing I'm just going to add is a button. So again, we're going to pull in a row. All right, and then I can see we have a little button content option here. All right, so I can pull that in. Okay, now the coolest thing about buttons is you can actually choose the button type. So do you want it custom, meaning you want to be able to put a URL in and send your recipients wherever you want, or you can link it to Keela specific forms. So for example, let's say I wanted to link this particular email to a donation form that I've created for school supplies. So I can track all of the donations that were funneled through this specific email. So Keela is going to track that if you link the button to a donate form within Keela. So that's pretty cool. So let's do that. You could change the button text. So maybe we want to say donate school supplies. Of course, you can get way more creative than me. This is just a starting point. Okay, and let's say I want to change the color and I want to keep it on brand. So I'm going to pull in the color code from our organization. I'm going to go ahead and throw that right in there. Okay, maybe I want to adjust a few things. I want the font size to be a little bit better. All right, so there's all sorts of fun stuff you can do here. All right, so just to go through the rest of the content blocks to give you an idea, text is pretty straightforward. It's text. Box text is going to have a box around it. Image, you can upload image files. Image card is where you can have an image as well as some text underneath it. Image caption is where you have a photo next to text. Then you can throw in websites. You can put a footer in your e-blast. That'll populate with your organization's contact information. You can put dividers in, buttons like we've worked through. You can add a video and a link to a video into your e-blast. You can add some HTML code if you want to get fancy, and also donation summaries. This is pretty cool. This is a new feature, and we're going to see sort of what this looks like when we go over the direct mail portion of the communications tool. So keep that in mind. The last thing about the email marketing builder is you have a style tab. So when you go to the style tab, it's going to affect the entire email marketing content rather than each section like we just saw, right? So you can choose whether you want it to go full width or centered. You can choose which background color for you want for the email. Okay, you can choose how links appear. the padding around the body text or image, and things like that. Okay, so you have a bunch of other customization options. The key is that this will apply to the whole email marketing content, whereas the customization options you see within each content block will apply to that particular block. Okay, so now you have two options up here. You can either save or you can save and continue. Save is just going to save the content and keep you within the builder. Save and continue is going to save and bring you back to filling out the rest of the fields. So in this case, we're going to press save and continue. Okay, so it looks like we have all our fields filled out, which is great. Now you'll notice this little send button appeared. It was grayed out previously, but now it's bright purple because we filled out all our fields. So we have a few different options. We can send right now, we can schedule a send time, or we can send a test email. So those are some options you have in terms of testing and sending. All right, now the only other tab to keep in mind here is the overview tab. All right, so if we head to the overview tab, right now it's pretty empty, mainly because we haven't sent out the email, so we don't have any email marketing statistics yet. But once we send that email, it'll populate the email statistics. You do have an actions tab here with a few different options. You can edit the information of the email marketing. You can duplicate it. So let's say you filled out all the fields, you created content, you love it, you want to create a duplicate email to send to a separate set of contacts and maybe just edit the content a little bit. You can do that. You can create an email template. Remember when we talked about saving templates that you really like? This is how you do it. So you can save it like this, and then next time you go to create an email marketing, it'll be an option. You can archive it. So let's say you create this and you're like, we changed our minds. We don't want to send this one out, but we don't want to completely delete it. You can archive it, or you can just go ahead and delete it. Now let's take a look at how the email marketing statistics populate for a sent email. So we'll head back to communications where we'll see all of our email marketing that went out. Okay. And I'm going to look for a particular email, school drive. Okay, so this only had 2 recipients. Keep in mind this is a test account, but it'll give you an idea of what statistics you can expect to see. So you can see the number of recipients it went to. Okay, now keep in mind if there are recipients that you sent an email to that either do not have an email at all, or their email is invalid, or they're opted out, they will not end up on the recipients list. So your recipients list might be a little less than the number of people within the segment or tag or all of your contacts. So keep that in mind. If you click on it, you can see all of the recipients. Then you can see delivered, so how many of those emails that were sent were delivered. You can see how many were opened, how many were clicked, how many were unopened, how many people unsubscribed, as well as how many were rejected. Okay, now on each of these, they're clickable links, so you can actually see the contacts that this particular statistic applies to. And you have a few actions. So it's add to a tag. So for whatever reason, let's say you want to look at your unopened recipients, and then you could go ahead and press that actions button that we saw before, add to a tag, and then you can maybe try to re-engage them in another way. You'll also on some emails see a raise statistic. Okay, remember how when we created that email marketing before, we linked it to a donation form? So that's what's going to pull this raise statistic so that anyone who donates through the button that you put in your email marketing, it'll count towards this raise statistic. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's head back to the communications tool. Next to the email marketing tab, you'll see a direct mail tab. This tool is designed for creating and generating direct mail communication that can be sent via physical mail, for example. When you click on this tool, you'll see any and all direct mailing that you have drafted or created. Similar to the email marketing tool, you can search for a particular direct mailing. You can filter out your direct mail based on category, when it was generated, and the status. You can turn on notifications for when you're assigned to a direct mail from another user on the account. And you can create a direct mail. When you click create a new direct mail, you'll be prompted to fill in the fields, really similar to email marketing. So let's say we want to do the same thing. We want to fundraise for school supplies, but this time we want to send out some physical mail letters as well. Okay, so we'll choose the category fundraising. We'll keep the assignee as is, and we'll apply it to the same campaign school supplies. We'll go ahead and press save. Okay, so now we're brought to these fields. They look similar to email marketing, but they're a little bit different. All right, so you have the two fields. So this is where you can identify the recipients that you want to send the direct mailing to. So we can go ahead and add recipients. You get this really similar options as the email marketing. You can send to a segment, tags, all of your contacts, and you can exclude contacts. We don't have the unknown subscription status option here because right now we plan on printing and mailing these letters rather than emailing them. So email isn't as relevant here. So we can choose our segment. Okay, I already have one ready to go. Our school supplies reach out for direct mail. So the way I populated that was just use some filters to make sure that I was only sending to people with a physical address. So you can use Keela's filters to segment your contact list based on all sorts of information. So we'll go ahead and press save. Okay, again, we can see the options that we chose. That's great. Now you have the content field where you can create and edit the content of the letter. And then you'll also see a generate information section. So this is where you'll actually generate the letters and then it'll allow you to download them. So let's go ahead and build and generate a direct mail piece so you can watch this really come to life. Okay, so we chose our recipients. Awesome. So now we'll go ahead and edit the content. So on the left side, you can see a preview of the letter, and on the right side is our direct mail builder. The first option you'll see is the ability to customize the logo and header image. So that's what you're seeing up here. So if you turn that on, you'll get additional options where you can upload an image and upload a header image as well. You can also change the background color. Okay, or you can turn it off and this will return back to its original settings. Keep in mind this logo and header image are being pulled from organization settings. Okay. Then of course you have the body. So this is what your message is going to say. So let's say our organization already had things ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and post that in there. All right. And let's maybe make the kids need you stand out a little bit to draw some attention. But more importantly, we want to personalize this email. So maybe I want to say, Dear, and then I want it to pull from the contact's profile information. So I'm going to use smart codes. This is available both in email marketing as well as direct mail as a way of pulling in information from a contact's profile. Okay, so let's say I want to address them by first name. I can throw that in there. Smart name is another great one. It's going to look for a preferred name first and then start looking at first name, last name, so on and so forth. So let's just say I know most of my contacts have a first name, so I'm going to address them by first name. And there we go, added some personalization. You also have options for changing the content of the header here. You can choose whether you want a date or if you want the address displayed or if you want to display a signature at the bottom. Now, as you're moving through it, I would suggest pressing save if you want to see sort of what your changes look like. So if I go ahead and press save, you'll see that the content has been updated in the body, all right? Now, if we move down, let's say I want to upload a signature. So I'm going to press upload image where I can pull in a signature. And let's see how that uploads. Go ahead and press save. And we move down and there we can see our signature at the bottom. Okay. So this looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. But another thing I wanted to show you, and this is really cool. Again, this is under email marketing as well. And I told you we'd go over it. It's the donation summaries. All right, so if I go ahead and turn on display donation summaries, look what appears. It's an actual chart. And what this does is shows the contributions from a particular contact, and this will auto-populate based on the recipient, so it's relevant to each recipient. You can choose the dates of which you want the date received for these donations to fall within that show up on the summary. You can choose whether you want to display the gift type, whether it's like money, in kind, the total amount of the gift. You can choose to show the description of the advantage where it's relevant. You can choose to show the campaign or the impact area so people can really see where their funds went if it's connected to a campaign or impact area. Okay, so I'll remove the donation summaries for now just because it's not so relevant to this particular email, but do know that's an option. A lot of organizations like to send out donation summaries at the end of the year to show, a contact or a donor all of their contributions, which is an awesome idea. So just know that that's options there. Again, it's available on email as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and press save. Awesome, looks great. So now we'll go back to the overview tab. Okay, so we're in our content now, which is where we edit, and we're going to jump into overview. Here's our fields listed again. So the only field we have left to fill in is generate information, which is simply just generating the letter. So we'll go ahead and press generates. Okay, we're going to have a little confirmation module. So we'll go ahead and confirm. And the letters are being generated. Awesome. So let's give that some time. I can see the status is in processing. It's not completed just yet. But if I head back to communications under direct mail, let me just choose one that's already been created just so we can see what that looks like. All right, so you'll see once it's been generated, it'll say the letters have been generated. It'll say created. It'll tell you when they've been created. And then you can go ahead and press download letters, or you'll have the option to download all. Okay, awesome. So if we head back to communications, you can see we went over the email marketing tab. We went over the direct mails tab. Now I just want to run through these 4 additional tabs just to tell you what they're about. So save templates, this is relevant to email marketing. So this is going to show you all of the templates that you've saved. Then you have archive. All right, so this is going to show you any email marketing that you've archived. Then you have subscription status. So this will show you the subscription status of every recipient or every contact that you've sent an email to will show up in here and show you their email subscription status. You can also bulk update the email subscription status from here. And then, of course, you have the settings tab. So this is relevant for unsubscribe settings. So you can edit the message that you want to appear when someone unsubscribes from your email. So that pretty much is a brief overview and training on the communications tool. And as always, if you have any questions or need any support at all, you can email us at support@keela.com. Thanks for watching.